I will go through something that I have gone through before. And that is Julius Evolas' trilogy, one could say. I don't mean it in a reading sense where I am reading it again. Maybe I will do again, but I have read this book enough times. And of course, I think that this book, The Crisis of the Modern World by Réne Géunon, is a good place to start because The Crisis of the Modern World is a smaller book. It is also more accessible. It's easier to grasp because Julius Evola is not necessarily the easiest to grasp right off the bat, because it turns many things on its head, and if you're not used to it, it takes some time to get into the kind of way he is describing things, like the vertical and the horizontal and so on. So just going to start with The Crisis of the Modern World, I can read some underlinings in this book, and I will probably read a fair amount of the underlinings in this book, because that will maybe get you more interested in reading this book, because many people who know about Julius Evola, maybe read a little but haven't read the books and so on, the first book they are often interested in is go right to Revolt Against the Modern World. I don't say that that's wrong in whatever end you want to begin reading it, but I say that maybe you don't want to skip over things. I will just go by the different underlinings here in this book. So here's a underlining: a word that rose to honor at the time of the Renaissance, and that summarized in advance the whole program of modern civilization, is humanism. Men were indeed concerned to reduce everything to purely human proportions, to eliminate every principle of higher order, and one might say, symbolically, to turn away from the heavens under pretext of conquering the earth. So, going by another underlining. And you can think about that, and you can stop the video, and so on. Because there's a thorough red line that goes through all of this. So, what is abnormal and disordered from a particular point of view is nevertheless but the consequence of a law implied in a higher and more extensive point of view. Then you can think about that as I turn the pages, and I will not read all my underlinings, but I will read the ones that I find most feasible here. That I enjoy the most. So, a true understanding can come only from above and not from below. And this would be taken in a twofold sense. The work must begin from what is highest, that is, from principle, and based and descend gradually to the various orders of application, always keeping rigorously to the hierarchical dependence that exists between them, and it must also of necessity be the work of an elite in the truest and most complete meaning of this word. By this we mean exclusively an intellectual elite, and in reality there can be no other. So you can pause the video in between, or you can think about these different passages or these different underlinings. So here again, the deeper one sinks into matter, the more the elements of division and opposition gain force and scope, and contrariwise, the more one rises towards pure spirituality, the nearer one approaches that unity which can only be fully realized by consciousness of universal principles. As you can see, it has a kind of structure to it where there's up, there's down, there's the horizontal and there's the vertical. There is the principle, and there's that which contains to the earthly matters, and which is contained to the moderns, and that which is sacred, and that which is profane, and so on and so forth. You can also see how I write here in my own language, in which is Swedish, in the book, and I do some other things here. So this book is harshly treated, while I am very meticulously aware about how I touch my books. In some cases, some books might look like they are very new still, while I have read them a couple of times. So next quote here, or next quotation: even if modern science should happen by chance to reach by roundabout route certain conclusions that seem to be in agreement with some of the teachings of the ancient traditional sciences, it would be quite wrong to see in this a confirmation of which these teachings stand in no need. It would be a waste of time to try to reconcile such utterly different points of view, or to establish a concordance with hypothetical theories that may be completely discredited before many years are out. And I will go through some more, and maybe that will trigger your interest to read this book. And everything I read for you has a context, but you can kind of see where he's coming from, maybe. So, modern man, instead of attempting to raise himself to truth, seeks to drag truth down to his own level. Then here's something else. It is easy to find more or less valid arguments on both sides of a question when there is no appeal to any higher principle. And you can see that he uses the word principle and higher many times. And that should actually mean a lot. It's not just words, you know. It's pointing in a direction, which is like very hierarchical. The sacred things is not something you gain easily, but it's a process of discipline. So here's another little underlining. There cannot be two beings who are at the same time really distinct and completely alike in every respect. So here's another underlining, and this is a really great one. The most decisive argument against democracy can be summed up in a few words. The higher cannot proceed from the lower, because the greater cannot proceed from the lesser. This is an absolute mathematical certainty that nothing can gainsay. So, go to the next one here. The great ability of those who are in control in the modern world lies in making the people believe that they are governing themselves. And the people are the more inclined to believe this as they are flattered by it, and as in any case they are incapable of the sufficient reflection to see its impossibility. So I go to the next one, which is this.